everyone, welcome to Journey to Data. I'm Smashe, and in today's episode, I'm excited to share that we'll be joined by an amazing guest, Muhammed, who is a data analyst, a data consultant. He will share with us his experience, his journey, and he will also give us tips on how to create a portfolio so that we can also break into the field of data. Muhammad, thank you so much again for being able to join us. Can you please give us a bit of an introduction of yourself, your journey, your experience from where you started to now being a data analyst?
100% Smash. Firstly, thanks for the introduction. It felt like WWE, and yeah, excited to be here again, back with you. Yeah, so just an introduction about myself from myself. My name is Muhammad. I'm 27 years old, just turned 27 this month, and I'm a data professional that's been lucky enough to have been involved in projects and work across the data landscape or data ecosystem, like data collection, data processing, data analyst, data engineering work, even data mentoring work. I've also been lucky enough to have worked with like big branded clients like FNB, the World Bank, Google, just to name a few. And I've also led and been a part of data projects and data teams across the world, actually. Of course, also in South Africa. Um, and yeah, one thing I did want to mention, so my background is very different as compared to normal data and IT professionals nowadays, in the sense that my first qualification was Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science at UKZN. I am currently doing my postgraduate diploma in data science also at UKZN, but I just thought I should mention that for anyone that also has a different background, that there is hope. You can achieve whatever you set out to achieve. So personally, my reasons for my shift was that I realized that I really love working with tables and data. It started off with Excel, of course, like most people start off with data, and from there it just took off. Like I realized there's so much you can do it just like a simple table. You can link it to so many software, so many technologies, visualize it, analyze it, get meaningful insights from it. And yeah, I do understand why they say data is the new oil, because I mean, there's so much you can do from it, so much you can uncover from it. But yeah, that's a quick intro from myself.
Amazing. But what I want to hear the most from you is how did you keep on going? Even when it comes to your journey, because you shared that you didn't take the traditional route to becoming a data analyst. Actually, you took a different degree and then you became a data analyst. Now you are learning to become a data scientist. But how did you do that? And what obstacles did you overcome along the way?
100%. That's a great question. So I'm not gonna lie, I feel like it was a bit more challenging for me because I didn't have that formal learning, that formal teaching to back me up, to ask someone questions and then they would help me, like in a classroom. So for me, it was a lot of self learning, a lot of experimentation. But one course that did help me was a course on Coursera that Google provides, which is the data analyst course. Now,
Yeah.
this sort of set my foundation, and we'll go more into foundations and the technologies that you should use in your foundation phase. Um, this set me up because it taught me the building blocks of working with data and the tools for those building blocks. So it literally took you through every step of a data professional's journey, what their day to day would look like, what would be the main tools they would look like. Obviously, all data professional tools are all different, use cases, but it's all very similar for those specific tools. And yeah, we'll go more into that. But yeah, a lot of self learning, a lot of understanding simple concepts again and again and again, trying to figure it out yourself. So what helped was also YouTube videos like your channel, like the videos you make, just people explaining
Yeah,
stuff to you, just you trying to get a grasp of it. Of course, you're not going to get the same grasp as someone that's studying it in university. It might take you some time, but you will get there at the end if you show some passion. So yeah, I think that was the main challenge for me. But like once you understand it, partially, once you get going,
yeah,
it's like you open up like, I don't know, a loophole or a wormhole, because you just keep on going, you just keep on learning. Once you master one technology, one concept, it links to another one, and then it links to another one. So yeah, you just need to make the start, you just need to open the door, and then yeah, the possibilities are endless actually. But yeah, those are the first steps for me that I would take.
yeah. Thank you so much. That's really amazing or inspiring to hear. Like being able to learn for yourself and being able to grow for yourself. But my second question for you, Mohammed, is based on the skills and tools that helped you stand out when it came to you applying for an internship and during the internship phase. What were those skills that helped you stand out?
100%. Yeah, so now this is where we come to the foundation. So in my opinion, of from what I've read and learned, your foundation tools should be wrapped around three specific tools. Should be Excel. That's the basic one. Most degrees, even outside of data science, computer science, they teach you Excel. So, you already have that basic understanding. I think even some high schools will teach you Excel. I'm not sure. But Excel, first foundation tool. Second foundation tool would be SQL. Doesn't matter what specific SQL tool, like you have so many, you have Postgre, you have BigQuery, you have SQL Server Management Studio, you have MySQL. Doesn't matter. You just need to learn the language, because most companies, medium to large, would have a SQL database, because that's how much data they do have.
Yeah,
So you would need to understand how to query the database, to look deeper into the data, um, make samples of data, export data, all that, just understand in SQL. The
mm,
third technology, and this also, not every data analyst has the skill or is strong in the skill, I feel, but it would help you a lot to set you apart, maybe. But you should have a basic understanding of Python. I do know in data science, most data science qualifications now, they teach you R, because they say R is better for data science and machine learning. But in my opinion, Python can do a lot more. I know a few people will fight me on that, but Python is the old school technology. Everyone knows Python. You can do so much with Python outside data. Um, so yeah, I would say those three should be your foundations, and then it wouldn't hurt to add a BI tool to that. So what a BI tool does is basically take your data, your clean data, and visualize it for non-data people. So stakeholders, CEOs, basically anyone that's not in the data world, not in the technical world, you use a BI tool to make the data easy for them to understand.
mm.
So yeah, I think those four, the three foundation tools, and then the BI tool would help a lot. I can give more examples on the specific BI tools, maybe later. But yeah, those are the main ones for me.
No, that's really good. Those are really important tools when it comes to data manipulation and data visualization as well. But my third question is when it comes to a person's portfolio. So let's say you're a student, what kind of projects do you think should be there? How should your portfolio look like? And yeah, what kind of projects should be there that matters that can help get you a callback? Because doing a calculator or creating a project of a calculator isn't really important when it comes to data analysis, but
Yeah,
what are the projects that help you stand out and have data opportunities?
100%. So yeah, as a student, a lot of students they have this mindset where I'm a student, so obviously I don't have working experience or practical knowledge. So why should I even build a portfolio? Let me get my first job. I think even I had that mindset when I finished university, when people told me to start a portfolio, but I really wish I started it sooner because that's the one thing that's helped me actually get my first job, I think.
Yeah,
Um, so when it comes to your portfolio, what projects should be in there? So yeah, like I mentioned, I did that course on Coursera.
yeah,
In that course, now you don't have to do this specific course. There are other courses just like this, but for that specific course, there were I think three capstone projects. Very simple capstone projects, but they were end to end data projects. What does that mean? It means you get the raw data, you transform that data, you export that data, and then you visualize that data.
mm,
That is a great project to put on your portfolio and speak about in the interviews because you are literally talking about an end to end data pipeline. Obviously, when you start working, the technologies and the way you create that pipeline, set up, schedule those pipelines are going to be, at a much higher level. But as a student, I mean, that's a great starting point. It's actually a starting point compared to other people. So yeah, I would encourage you, whatever course you find, also when it comes to the courses, make sure they brand names like Google certified, Microsoft certified. I think DataCamp also has a few projects on their website. But yeah, you can get those capstone projects or example projects. Those can be added to your portfolio. Again, I'll mention YouTube because I've used YouTube a lot. YouTube projects, end to end, they show you everything. And also in your projects, because you're doing it, you're learning those tools that normally people ask work experience for, those tools, especially Power BI.
yeah,
So you can talk about those projects. And also, what helps is once you complete the project, whatever code you're using, specifically Python and SQL, take screenshots of those codes and add it to that portfolio. Take screenshots of the BI tool, the complete dashboard or report, add it to your portfolio with a short, very, very short description because no one wants to read what you're reading. They just want to see. And if they want further information, you can be like just a short paragraph about what that project is about. And yeah, that I think that's a perfect starting point for students when creating their portfolio.
Thank you so much. I think you said like a really clear picture of how it should look like, and you shared with me that you will come back to the channel again and share your own portfolio one day. So I'm
100%.
excited for that day as well, and I'm sure the viewers would like that. But when it comes to your CV as well, how should a person's CV look like, so that they can ensure that people they get feedback and they are able to get the callback as well from the potential employers.
Okay. So my opinion is going to be very controversial because I'm sure you've also seen blogs and things like this on LinkedIn about how CV should be.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I don't agree with any of them because the CVs that they ask for or how it should be formatted is very boring. Um,
Yeah,
just looking at it, I'm like, there's no creativity here. Like, what?
like very minimal.
Yeah, what is this person trying to show? So for me, my opinion is you should show a bit of yourself and your personality, your character in the CV. How can this be done? Colors, design. Obviously, don't add a lot of design or small images and stuff, because that doesn't make sense. It has to obviously be professional.
Yeah.
But color, example of my CV is it's blue, black, and white. I feel like that resonates with my personality a bit strong, a bit confident. So it's subtle things like that. That's my opinion. Again, it be controversial to people that say you should just have text, and that's a bit lame, to be honest with you. And my CV has worked for me. I have got callbacks when I applied for a job. It has stood out. So again, this is my experience, my opinions that I'm giving. Um, so yeah, coming to the CV specifically, the most important page, of course, would be the first page, because that's the first thing the recruiter or interviewer is going to see. Yeah. What should be on the first page? The first page should obviously have your title, and also a short description, very short but like catchy description of yourself. It's almost like a sales pitch, like you saying what makes you different, what makes you the best out there, very short description. After the description, what I would put are career or academic highlights. It can also be sporting highlights, but that's if you want to show off a bit. Like, I remember I told you on my CV I had that I was a soccer captain in high school. That has nothing to do with getting me a job, but it's there. I'm quite proud of that, and maybe someone will be like, you know what, he's a great leader. He led his team to trophies and things like that. So highlights, career, academic, even sporting highlights, I would add. Not a lot, of course. And then there has to be, and this is still all on the first page, there has to be skills. So that's also something that recruiters, especially in data and IT, that's very, very important for catching recruiters and interviewers, HR teams' attention.
Yeah.
Um, the importance of technologies in data and IT. So list the technologies there, the skills that you have, whether it's a lot, whether you have years of experience or even just 1 month's experience, list it there.
Yeah.
It will help a lot as long as you can speak to it. It will help you. So that's the technology or technical skills. And then, of course, you can add like personal skills or personality skills, communication, teamwork,
Yeah.
things like that. Um, and yeah, of course, there'll also be like basic stuff like contact number, website, portfolio link, and things like that. But I'm not going to go too much into that. So yeah, the main things, short description about yourself, career highlights, academic highlights, sporting highlights, and then skills. Technical skills more important than personality skills, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, your first page, your selling page. Once that's done, then you can move on to make your CV section by section or combine sections if you can, ideally to save space. But so the way mine is set up, first page, second page I have my certifications, qualifications. Third page I have my experience, and then the last page I have my references. References are very important. Even if it's like as a student, you're not going to have a lot of references. So maybe add like professors, maybe add friends, family, brother,
Yeah.
sister, someone that they can call to make sure that everything you stated is valid and that you're a good person, basically. Also, something that might help students, if your professor knows you, um, or you're doing very well in class or something, it wouldn't help to get a testimonial letter from that professor. So, a testimonial letter basically states who you are, what they think of you, about your character. Very short letter, very professional and formal. it will go a long way when sending out your CV.
Amazing. No, I think that's a very good strategy, especially when it comes to the referencing and the letters. It's a good one.
Yeah,
Good strategy.
100%.
It shows that you're a good person.
Yeah. You want all the advantages.
For sure. And let's say now the portfolio is looking good, the CV is looking good, and you get the call back and they say come for the interview. And how should one prepare for the interview, especially because there are two types of interviews. There is a technical and there is a behavior. I still forget the actual name for this interview, but there is a behavior or cultural fit interview.
Yes, yes.
How should what should one expect and how they can prepare for those two types of interview?
Okay. So in terms of preparing for an interview, uh, I will be honest, and maybe some of the viewers can almost resonate with me. When I started going for interviews, I was terrified. I was so nervous, like I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what questions would come up. Obviously, you don't know what they're gonna think of you. Um, but ways to calm that is obviously being fully prepared and doing the best you can. Because at the end of that interview, you can say, "I've done the best I can. I've prepared as much as I can."
Yeah.
So the ways you can do that, and this has also helped me being a lot more calmer even now if I had to go for interviews or apply for jobs. The first thing you would do is, of course, read the job description. The job description you should know very, very well, especially when it comes to the technologies. What advice I would also give is if there's a technology there that you haven't done or don't have much experience or even have never heard of it before, it wouldn't hurt to go and even research that technology. It wouldn't hurt to play around with that technology. If you have to pay for that technology, that may be an issue. But if you have read about the technology, know what it's done, you
Yeah.
can say that in the interview, and that will play to your advantage over saying, "Nah, I don't know. Oh, I haven't heard about that before." So you just talking and taking the initiative to learn about it, it shows you have initiative. You're willing to go the extra mile. So that's the first advice I would give. The second advice I would give is do your research on the company itself. It always impresses them, especially when you go through their website, to ask questions about things on their website.
Mm.
So I'm just trying to think of an example. Let's say a company is based in Cape Town and you're applying for a job in Durban. You can ask questions like, what would the structure of the teams be in Durban as compared to Johannesburg in terms of a data hierarchy? You can ask questions like, are the tools that are used in the Durban teams different to the tools that are used in the Johannesburg teams, or sorry, Cape Town teams? You can ask questions like, what are the growth opportunities if I were to outperform my colleagues, or if I'm willing to go the extra mile? So yeah, you just have to be creative. Again, base it on what you researched or learned about the company. It shows initiative. It shows a lot of initiative and willingness to want to be there. Um, I'm just trying to think of anything else I may have missed besides coming to the technical and culture fit. What else? What else? What else? Okay, if it comes to me, it comes to me. So yeah, coming to the technical interview first. So the technical interview, it's not as daunting as you would think. I mean, the word technical interview does sound quite scary, but again, if you've read through the job description, if you've seen the technologies, you read about the technologies that you don't know, and even the ones you do know, you just brushed up a bit on it. it should be smooth flowing. And then, like I said earlier in the session, if your foundations are right in terms of data concepts, in terms of those big three technologies that I mentioned, you can speak to other technologies because your foundations are correct. Everything links to everything in data. Um, so yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. You should face technical interviews with confidence. Again, let's say they ask you a specific question about one technology. Let's say they ask you about a feature in Power BI. And let's say you've used Power BI, but you just haven't used that feature. What you can do is speak about a similar feature. You can
Yes, that
speak about yes, so you can speak about a similar feature and that can impress them. Or you can speak about a feature that works the same, that can impress them. It shows that you do have that experience and knowledge about Power BI, even though it's not that direct feature.
definitely.
So that will help a lot. And also, just coming to the technical interview part, what most companies, and when I say most companies, I would say 8 out of 5 companies, what they normally do, and I know this happens a lot for entry level roles because, students coming fresh out of university, what they would do is give you an assessment, a technical assessment to take. It's not very scary, not very in depth because again, it's for entry level or depending on the company or the role. It's very rare, but I mean, it's also based on what you're applying for. It's also based on the technologies they're asking for. So it's either you know it or you don't know it in most cases. Again, it's very basic. I haven't come across an assessment, a technical assessment that asks you things that a very senior person would know. I know those questions and I've never seen it because most of the time they just want to see if your foundations or your knowledge level is right for what they want. Because in every data and IT role, you expect it to grow, you expect it to continue learning. So,
Yeah,
yeah, most cases it's just about foundations.
yeah,
And again, just before we move on to the culture fit interview, the way I see it for these technical assessments is you just have to remember that if you got to the technical assessment, it means you passed the technical interview.
okay, yeah,
So that's a positive. If you pass the technical assessment, you got the job, right? If you didn't pass the technical assessment, it means you already know what the technical assessment would look like going forward. So
yes,
it's that thing exactly about balancing yourself, about figuring things out, getting experience in interviews, assessments, what they expect of you, what companies are looking for. You figure it out. So yeah, that's my opinions. I know it was quite a lot on technical interviews, and just I'll go over the culture fit interviews quite quickly because I'll be honest with you, that's the nice part about these interviews. Is just the culture fit interview. It's literally about seeing whether you fit into the company and with the people. So it's more about your character. It's more about, are you resilient enough? Are you hardworking enough? Are you friendly enough? Don't be arrogant. So it's about you showing your character, but at the same time, I know some people's character and personalities are a bit stronger than others.
yeah,
So I would say if you know a lot, let's say you're the class topper in your class, all right? Um, don't go there acting that you are going to be the class topper at the company. Um, do not go there with arrogance at all. Say you know something, but you can always improve on it, even though you scored 10 out of 10 in some test or something. always say there's room for improvement. Always say you're working on yourself. You just want to be the best version of yourself. You just want to grow in the company. You know, you're going to grow as a professional. So always go into interviews with humility. And yeah, just be yourself, be calm, be relaxed. Always have a smile on your face when answering questions. The culture fit interview should be a breeze, to be honest with you.
Not that this is out. It's just have to be a good person, and
100%. 100%.
yeah. And when you were like for you personally, when you were searching for the job, or just searching for opportunities, what platform did you use? Because there are different platforms that people use. That it could be LinkedIn, it could be going to the sites that you are searching for the job for. It could be a friend referring you to a job. It could be connections that you have. But what way for you worked and you're able to get the job? And what can you advise on other persons to do it?
Yeah, so when it came to finding jobs, I'll be honest with you, um, some people are a bit lucky in the sense that they got into university, the qualification they wanted with just one application,
Yeah.
and they will get the job they want with just one application as well. Most cases that doesn't happen. Most cases you would need to send out 100 or 200 applications just to get one call back. Um, so you do have to use a lot of sites to do that, of course. And the three main sites that I would suggest would be LinkedIn first. Every company is on LinkedIn. Almost every major company, if not every major company, is on LinkedIn. Um, Also, with LinkedIn, companies have direct access to you. It's not only one way around. So, recruiters have access to view your profile, your experience, what posts you've been making, what type of person you are, all through LinkedIn. Also, the nice thing about LinkedIn is the two options or features that I like. One is that easy apply button. So you just store your CV on LinkedIn and then you click easy apply and then your CV goes through immediately, very fast. So that helps. And then also under each job application, there's most of the time there's a recruiter profile there that says you can reach out to this person.
Yeah.
So what helps and shows initiative most of the time is if you, after applying, reach out to that recruiter or HR person, maybe even sometimes it's the CEO, and just say, you know what, hey, my name is so and so. I've applied for this position. I just thought I'd reach out to introduce myself and say how much, what an honor it will be for me to get this position. I'll be really great at it, and yeah, don't overbear them with essays. Just a quick intro, nice, cool message, and that should be that. Also, another tip, and this also applies for the other platforms that I'm going to mention. In the job description, sometimes they leave an email address at the bottom of the job description. That can be also a recruiter, HR person. So what most people fail to do is they would apply for the job through LinkedIn, but they wouldn't email their CVs because they're like, I already applied, there's no point. Why not have two shots at the same target and then having one shot at the target? I mean, it betters your chance of hitting the target. So my advice would also be to email that person whose email is there. So yeah, that's for LinkedIn. The other two platforms that I use frequently is Pnet. This is the second one. Pnet is amazing. Um, most of the people that reached out to me for jobs directly have come from LinkedIn, and then second was Pnet. Don't ask me how they found my profiles and stuff, but they did. And they always say, we found your profile on PNet. We saw you in this field. We like your experience, your qualifications, and they take the thing further. Most of the time, they call you. It's not through messages and things like that. Or sometimes they would email as well. Also, PNet, you always see jobs coming up like almost every day, every second day. And the stuff that you see there, sometimes you won't even see it on LinkedIn. So Pnet is very powerful. They also have that feature, easy apply, like LinkedIn. So it stores your profile or your CV, and then you just click apply, apply, apply. So yeah, that's Pnet is amazing. It works. It helps. And the third platform that I would recommend is Indeed. So Indeed, it's quite similar in terms of applying with LinkedIn, because you see a lot of the same companies, a lot of the same roles there. Um, but Indeed is just like Pnet, job specific. It's not like a social platform. It just stores your profile and your CV, and then you apply. So those are the three main platforms. I'm sure there's much more differences, but I think I went over the main ones: LinkedIn, Pnet, and Indeed. Those are the ones I use.
Definitely. There is new platforms that I think people will learn about besides LinkedIn, of course, which is CNET and of course with also Indeed as well. But thank you so much for sharing, especially the advice of yes, apply, but also write an email to the recruiter so that you can be able to up, your chances of getting feedback. You know. And yeah, but thank you so much. This will lead us to like a conclusion of our episode or of today's episode or interview. And for us to, before we conclude, I want to ask for you for some advice for anyone who wants to break into the field of data when it comes to this year in 2025. What advice would you give them?
Yeah, so if I can sort of summarize it, also based on my experience, is the first thing I would say is comparison is a thief of joy. There is so much skills and so much industries that data is a part of. Um, so not one person has all those skills or all that knowledge or all that experience. So just stay calm, take it a day at a time, learn what you can in a day, and you'll definitely make a breakthrough in the data field, because what data people love is you evolving with the technologies, you showing passion for working with data. That's what every data senior data person loves seeing in those young data people in interviews and things like that. And what else? Yeah, we covered the foundations. So just make sure those three foundational tools I mentioned, you go through it, you try your best to master them. That will give you a huge advantage. And also, we mentioned the portfolio. Make sure you even just start the portfolio. Also, something I didn't mention is a cover letter. Maybe we can um, mention it if we have another session in the future. A cover letter is basically you proposing yourself to the company. I'm sure if you just look at examples of cover letters and stuff, it'll guide you. So yeah, just take it a day as it comes. Data is the new oil. There's a lot you can do for it. There's always jobs out there in data. So hit the ground running, set yourself apart from people, and one day you'll be at the top of that pile, hopefully.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much, Mohammed, for your advice and your insights as well. And yeah, I wish you all the best again when it comes to your game and when it comes to your career. So it seems like it's looking good so far. I won't lie.
Thanks, Marshall. And yeah, I wish you all the best with this channel. I really hope it grows. I really love the content you post. And thank you. Thank you for having me on here, man.